Warm welcome, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Well, what occurred in Patiala today was a rare occurrence because Punjab has seen unrest, Punjab has seen militancy, but Punjab in decades had not seen communal clashes. This, for the first time, was a communal clash that took place in Punjab, Patiala. Who ignited it? Where hardliner Sikh groups collided with hardliner Hindu groups. Swords, stones were hurled from both sides. Stones were pelted, swords were brandished from both sides. Stones were pelted from both sides. Is there an attempt to polarize the state of Punjab?
Swords, stones, and a seriously disturbing clash in Punjab. A rare one on communal lines in the state.
Khalistan! Khalistan!
An anti-separatist protest march by the state's self-styled Shiv Sena. A counter-protest by supporters of the Sikh political right. And the two groups turned aggressive.
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੰਗੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਹੈ ਫਿਰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਨੇ ਮੋਗੇ ਝੰਡਾ ਚੜਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਦਾ ਪੰਨੂ ਦੇ ਕਹਿਣ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਦਾ ਮਾਮਲਾ ਦਰਜ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਕਹੀ ਦੇਵੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਅਨਾਉਂਸ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੁ ਸ਼ਹਿਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਕਾਨਦਾਰ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਭੈਣ ਭਰਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਜ ਤਾਈਂ ਕੋਈ ਝਗੜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਰ ਜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਜ਼ਖਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਘਰੇਦਿਆ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਨੂਣ ਭੁੱਕਿਆ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੁੱਪ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਹਿਣਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਘਰੋਂ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਕੁੱਟਣ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਭੁਲੇਖਾ ਨਾ ਰੱਖੇ ਟੀਸੀ ਦੇ ਵੇਰ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਉੜਦੇ ਹੀ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ
The police moved in to bring the situation under control after stones were pelted and swords were brandished. But the situation that had already unfolded in Patiala along a temple happened almost a month and a half after the Aam Aadmi Party took charge of the state.
Punjab doesn't really have a history of communal clashes after the partition. Even during the unrest in the 1980s and the 1990s, you won't really hear about communities clashing on the streets in any major way. So the buck stops at the new AAP government to get to the root of the Patiala clash.
But the ruling Aam Aadmi Party has accused the opposition of involvement, even as the Shiv Sena mothership in Maharashtra has disowned the group allegedly involved in the Patiala clash.
Clash is not between two groups. It's absolutely a political issue. It's absolutely a political issue. It's not a clash between two groups. You know, the two groups, two issues. This is a political issue between one side is Shiv Sena and Congress and the other side is Akali Dal. So this will not work in Punjab. We are very clear. We are very, very clear about this, that this will not work in Punjab.
Elements on either side cannot be allowed to sow the seeds of communal trouble in a state that has been overwhelmingly participating in the democratic process since the elimination of militancy more than a quarter century ago. With Harmeet Shah Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, while it's too early to actually pinpoint, but what led to this clash, communal clash in Patiala, which really hasn't happened in decades before? Prima facie, it seems April 29th, 1986, a Sikh congregation had made the announcement for an independent Khalistan. This was in April 29th, 1986. Now, since then, since April 29, 1986, the event was never marked annually either by pro-Khalistani groups or protested by Hindu hardliners. However, April 29, 2022, today, the same day of what happened in 1986, Hindu hardliners group took out a yatra, took out a rally against the 86 announcement. It was then that Sikh hardliners and pro-Khalistani groups confronted the rally and clashes erupted. I want to bring in right now, at this juncture, my colleague Harmeet Shah, senior editor, India Today. He's joining us from the studio. Harmeet, one thing that Punjab has seen is militancy, It's been on the edge during the farm agitation. It's seen issues of sacrilege. But over decades, rarely has the state of Punjab seen communal clashes. Would you once again take us through the timeline of what actually led to this clash today? What made the Shiv Sena, which has nothing to do, is what the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra says with it, but an independent Hindu hardliner outfit called the Shiv Sena in Punjab take out a rally in protest of what took place all the way back in 1986?
Preeti, let's be very clear about this so-called Hindu-Sikh divide. This so-called Hindu-Sikh divide doesn't exist in the first place. That is absolutely clear. Secondly, if you see the sequence of events, this sequence of events appear pretty intriguing on both sides. If something that happened almost 35 years ago, Sarbat Khalsa declaring Punjab to be Khalistan territory. I mean, no one remembers that date. It's a fact. It's not on Punjab calendar. It's not on Sikh calendar. Then again, this so-called Shiv Sena chooses to organize a protest. Yes, you in democracy you have every right, every legitimate right to protest anything you like to. And if there is some sort of protest happening, then where is this Sikh political right group come into place to protest that protest, which doesn't even register in the ordinary in the heads of ordinary Punjabis, be it the Sikhs or the Hindus. So this needs to be investigated, why all this happened, because let's be, I mean, if you see the overall political social situation in Punjab in 2022, there is no Khalistani movement at all. You just had elections and people overwhelmingly participated in the democratic process, and they have been participating in the democratic process over the past quarter century. So I think that, again, as I said in my story, that the buck stops at the Aam Aadmi Party, at the Aam Aadmi Party's government, to get to the root of this clash, which otherwise is not central to Punjabi culture.
All right, Harmeet, appreciate you joining us with that quick update. But one thing, viewers, and we leave it for the better judgment of our viewers to understand, this was a rally that was taken out in protest of an incident that had happened in 1986. Well, that's what prima facie the initial reports seem to suggest. I want to cut across right now to our panelists this evening, because is there now a clear attempt to polarize the state of Punjab? I have with me Pratap Singh Bajwa, leader of opposition Punjab Legislative Assembly. I also have with me Dr. Sunny Ahluwalia, spokesperson Aam Aadmi Party, and Anil Sareen, spokesperson Punjab BJP unit. I want to cut across to Mr. Sunny Ahluwalia first from the Aam Aadmi Party. And Mr. Ahluwalia, this is the first acid test of your government in Punjab where law and order is concerned.
See, I want to make one thing very clear, though it was very unfortunate what has happened in Patiala, but there was a clash between two political parties. One was Shiv Sena, who was denied the permission of taking out the march. They were denied the permission. Rather than they tried to start their march from somewhere else. Though they were denied the original position, they were denied the march, they were denied everything. And second is Shiromani Akali Dal Man. And when these two rivalries come together, they just create a havoc in Patiala. Our Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann has clearly said every time that we are not going to basically any law and order position. We are going to maintain law and order position. We are not going to tolerate any.
All right, we seem to be having a visual link failure where our Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson is concerned. I want to cut across right now to Mr. Bajwa. Mr. Bajwa, my first question, sir, to you is, we were talking about the law and order situation in Punjab. This is the first acid test for the government, which is newly minted. You've contested that they can't deal with what's going on because it's a border state. But the situation is highly precarious right now, sir.
See, it has just started. You must try to understand it's a border district. And Punjab already has had this kind of a past where the state had undergone these kind of communal clashes earlier. And it was after major, you could say, initiative by the then Congress government. and the armed forces and the paramilitary forces and the police joint effort, that we were able to control Punjab after a lot of effort. A lot of sacrifices had gone down. So what I feel is the government has to be very careful. So this is the very first major challenge that is being faced by them. But in the last 45 days, every single day, a lot of major incidents have been taking place. Some of the very popular sportsmen have been killed. There have been multiple murders, dacoities, robberies, these kind of incidents happening every single day. So I feel the government has to be very, very careful on this.
Mr. Bajwa, this is possibly the first time that such communal clashes have taken place in Punjab. As the leader of opposition, whose fault do you think this is? Does it lie with the inadequacies of the current government because they've only taken power just a few months ago? Or do you think there is a larger plot to possibly destabilize, polarize Punjab?
See, what I feel is there are a couple of, I think so, there are a couple of agencies involved which basically don't want Punjab to be peaceful. So there are a couple of people who want to disturb the peace of Punjab. So I think so this is the first major thing. And even this organization which had called for this kind of a bandh or whatever it was, they had already sent a kind of a feeler earlier to the government. They had declared they are going to do this, so government should have been better prepared. This kind of unfortunate incident should have been, the government should have been better prepared, and this incident should not have happened. So what I feel is government has to be very careful in the coming future.
Dr. Sunny Ahluwalia, and I'll bring in Anil Sareen as well from the Bharatiya Janata Party, but we have you again right now. Earlier on the visual link had failed. It's the responsibility of the government. The government should have been better prepared. You might not have given them permission, but you knew there could be trouble which was fomenting and brewing.
So Bhagwan Singh Man has clearly said that in case there was an inaction done by the Patiala police, the action will be taken against them as well. So in case there was a disruption in law and order, which we have seen in Patiala, the action will be on the people who have done it and the action on the people who have not performed their duties, so that this would have been avoided. So Aam Aadmi Party is very clearly monitoring, Bhagwan Singh Man is especially himself monitoring all these events, what is happening in Patiala, and that is the reason that we have put a curfew in Patiala at 7 p.m. today.
All right, the curfew on is from Patiala from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Anil Sareen, the Aam Aadmi Party says that this is fomented by political outfits. You're looking to create trouble. You're looking to create communal clashes in a state of Punjab while they're brewing across the country as well. And you're eyeing Punjab now.
Preeti, I strongly object to your words, what you have attributed to us.
Sir, I haven't attributed the parties attributed it to you. Did you hear the spokesperson?
No, not at all. BJP strongly condemns such acts of violence and provocation by anti-social elements, whosoever one may be. And BJP has nothing to do with today's incidents. Today's incidents, attack on the Kali Mata Mandir in Patiala is very, very unfortunate. Lakhs of people have faith and devotion towards this mandir. Such acts of violence must be condemned by one and all, irrespective of the political affiliations. And don't attribute this instance to us. It is with some Shiv Sena people or SAD Amritsar, the so-called supporters of Sikh for Justice, Satwant Singh Pannu, and a soft corner of the state government towards Satwant Singh Pannu. That is the main reason for such type of incidents taking place. I must make it clear, BJP strongly condemns such acts of violence and provocation disturbing the communal harmony in Punjab. BJP strongly condemns those who are involved in it, and we demand strictest possible action under the law should be taken against each and every individual whosoever is involved in it. Such type of instance can't be allowed to disturb the peace, hard-earned peace of Punjab. Punjab is a border state. It's a sensitive state. And each Punjabi wants peace. It is a total failure of law and order machinery. For last 10 to 15 days, this confrontation is going on. What the police is doing, what the government is doing. Is government not aware of it? Is Aam Aadmi Party, Bhagwant Mann not aware of it? What is going on in Patiala for last 10 to 15 days? Both sides are posting their own stands. Number two, as far as the protest by so-called Shiv Sena leader is concerned, that was not at Kali Mata Mandir. How the radicals reached Kali Mata Mandir with stones and swords in their hands? How the police allowed them to be near the Kali Mata Mandir? This is to be seen very seriously. This is a very mischievous act, and police has failed to protect the common Punjabis in this. We have already faced in the 80s the turmoil we have faced. Each and every Punjabi knows it. It's a hard-earned peace after a long battle.
Okay.
Many of our soldiers and our Punjabis have lost their lives in that. But this cannot be allowed. And it is a total failure of the law and order machinery and Bhagwant Mann government. Every day, in and out, people are being killed in the broad daylight. Robberies going on. No question. Nobody is being arrested. What is this going on in Punjab?
Dr. Sani Ahluwalia, the fact is the BJP says they have nothing to do with this incident. You're trying to pull them in to, earn political mileage of an incident that has completely shaken up, the very fabric or the social fabric of the state of Punjab.
See, madam, I want to make one thing mention here, that for 44 years, these two governments, these two parties, the BJP and the Khalidal and the Congress on the other hand, has been ruling the Punjab. What they have done to Punjab, we have just, we are here in 46 days. It has been that Bhagwant Singh Mann has taken the oath. It has been 46 days. And in 46 days, we are trying to control the law and order. What these previous governments have done. Today, the Congress person, Bajwa Saab, is saying to us, I want to ask them that they are in coalition with the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra state. Shiv Sena president...
No, but one second, sir. Sir, Shiv Sena, Shiv Sena, if we can call it the mothership Shiv Sena, the outfit, has made it very clear they have nothing to do with this particular Hindu hardliner Shiv Sena in Punjab. They've made it very clear that they have nothing to do with it. So the Congress might be in alliance with the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra, but it's not the same Shiv Sena.
No, whether they have suspended Harish Singla, who was their president for Punjab, whether they have or not. If they have suspended that person, then that means he was the member of Shiv Sena beforehand. Shiv Sena Bal Thackeray. Was he or not? So my thing is that rather than blaming the present government, they should check themselves what they have done to the Punjab. We are taking the responsibility. Hello?
Go ahead, Mr. Ahluwalia, we can hear you.
Yeah. We are taking the responsibility of Punjab state. We are trying to make things clear that Shromani Khalidal has contested against us. Shromani Khalidal Amritsar has contested against us. They are not our part. They are saying us that we are pro-Khalistani. There is nothing these kind of thing in Punjab. They are trying to create disruption in Punjab by saying all these kind of steps, by saying all these words.
Sir, you come from the Punjab unit. Your leaders, Dr. Sani Ahluwalia, your leaders in Delhi, which is the Aam Aadmi Party, are blaming the BJP. Is the Punjab Aam Aadmi Party unit blaming the BJP or the Congress?
No, we are blaming BJP. There's a reason behind it. Because they are the person who have started the polarization of things. They are the people who create these kinds of gundagardis. They are the people who are ruling the India and at the same time creating fuss for the country. So they are they became the role model of Shiv Sena, and Shiv Sena trying to control the polarization in Punjab by doing all this stuff.
Anil Sareen, the charge is Shiv Sena is a team B of the BJP in Punjab.
I'm clearly saying this.
Dr. Ahluwalia, you've made an allegation, you've made a charge.
Listen, Ahluwalia. I want to make it clear that BJP has nothing to do with Shiv Sena. Nothing to do with Shiv Sena. It's loud and clear. Number two, what did the Satwant Singh Pannu, Sikh for Justice, the extremist element who wants Khalistan to be established? What was his statement when you were contesting Punjab elections? Support AAP, and they will fulfill our dream of Khalistan after coming to power. What do you have to say about that? You forget his statement? You forget his letter to all people of Punjab that was circulated, that vote for Aam Aadmi Party, they will support us after forming the government to our agenda.
Let him finish, sir. Let him finish. Dr. Ahluwalia, let him finish. I'll come to you. Let him finish.
Was there or not? Tell me whether this letter was there or not. Have you ever condemned it? Have you ever said that you have nothing to do with that letter? At that time, you wanted votes of all these anti-social elements, anti-national elements. They were with you head and glove. And you say BJP has nothing at any stage prove it. BJP has anything to do with Shiv Sena in Punjab. But as far as you are concerned, you are hand in glove with the terrorist, anti-social elements, anti-national elements of Punjab who are residing in the foreign countries, and you are getting aid from them, you are getting votes from them, you are getting support from them.
You know, these are grave charges. Sir, these are grave charges. Dr. Sani Ahluwalia, I know you want to come and respond.
BJP, which has been rejected in Punjab, BJP, which has been rejected in Punjab, are trying to blame us.
I want Mr. Sareen,
Sareen sir, please listen now. Please listen, Sareen sir. You are the people who create fuss in name of religion, creed. Aam Aadmi Party has never asked for votes from any particular religion. But you are the people who always say these kinds of things. I want to make one thing clear on your channel, madam, that there is no relation of Aam Aadmi Party with any terrorist group, any Khalistani group. There is no Khalistani group in Punjab. I am making it clear on your channel, but BJP is trying to create confusion by their B team, which is Shiv Sena, by creating these kinds of riots in Punjab and making it anti-Khalistani or pro-Khalistani.
Okay,
there
sir.
is nothing like
I would like to go to Mr. Bajwa, the leader of opposition, because I recorded with him earlier. I want to speak with him again, but yes, Mr. Sareen, quickly 10 seconds. Then I'll take a closing from Mr. Ahluwalia.
I just want to question Mr. Ahluwalia.
No, sir, listen. Contested election against us. Who was voted by Pannu?
Okay, one by one, Mr. Sareen. May I just get Mr. Sareen?
No, it's my turn to speak.
Yes, Mr. Sareen, speak, sir, speak.
Just tell me, when Satwant Singh Pannu's letter for support to AAP in the elections were circulated, did you ever object it? Did you ever denounce it? Not even a single word was uttered by your leadership.
No, but that they denounced. Mr. Sareen, they denounced that. Mr. Ahluwalia?
Not at all. Not at all.
Sir, I had a spokesperson on my channel at the back of it, and they had said they had nothing to do with it.
Only saying that is enough.
Sir, how else do you denounce it?
We are saying, what do you want from us? What do you want from us? We are saying.
Number two.
We are against any.
Okay, I need to close the show, but if I have a minute, I'd like to go across with both your permission. I recorded with Mr. Bajwa earlier. May I just take a quick question from him?
What was the police doing?
Okay, Mr. Bajwa, my quick question, sir. Who do you think is responsible behind what has gone down? When your government was there, you were also questioned many a times to foment, especially during the time of militancy, anger within a particular class.
See, the foreign powers, you know our neighbor very well. They our neighbor and its agencies have been trying. So this has been earlier reported by the previous Congress government also. So I think so one has to be very careful. Everybody knows the designs of the ISI, the designs of Pakistan. And you know what are the political scenario in Pakistan at the present moment. After Imran Khan has been ousted, again the army and the ISI are very much trying to destabilize states in and around Pakistan also. So we have to be very careful. A lot of things happening in Pakistan, their kind of you could say effects can also be felt in and around Pakistan.
All right, I appreciate all three of you gentlemen for joining us. It's rather interesting because in the mix, who fomented trouble or who ignited the fire in Patiala, Punjab, is there an attempt to communally polarize the state? With the three spokespersons we've spoken to, we have three players. The Congress, at least the Punjab unit, says it's Pakistan. It's the ISI which is doing it. On the other hand, the BJP says it's the fault of the current government, the Aam Aadmi Party, and it's an abject failure of law and order. The Aam Aadmi Party says it's the BJP, the Shiv Sena. Here is the team B of the BJP. The original Shiv Sena in Maharashtra says we have nothing to do with this Shiv Sena. How it actually goes down, will this continue to simmer or it's a one-off incident? Time will tell. A quick break. Do stay with us. Up next is News Track.